evening and welcome to the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show. I'm Tommy Krysan along with Buddy Sanji. LSU 54, Texas A&M 39. No, they didn't play basketball. They played football. Tigers, very impressive in a lot of ways. Danny Etling, Darius Geis with a new school record, 285 yards rushing. Buddy Sanji, happy Thanksgiving, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving.
How are you?
TK, it is so nice to be doing a show after an incredible game. We hope everybody out there had a great time with their family. As you can tell by me and TK and all the folks over here, we all ate too much. But boy, speaking of eating, hey, I had a little premonition. Geis, 180 yards, a couple touchdowns. TK, a school record performance, 37 carries, 285, 4 touchdowns. By far and away, Danny Etling's best performance of the year. Really threw the ball well. You hate to see the 39 with A&M because the defensive stats are now going to all be skewed. And then, of course, we have the coaches talk and everything that's happened in the last 24 hours. So, TK, busy show. We want to hear from you out there. Happy Thanksgiving. And this is a great way to end the regular season.
All right, the text messages are going, buddy. Our phone number's 225-928-4910. Be happy to hear from you. Text message line, area code 504-689-9246. Buddy, would you keep Coach O or hire Tom Herman? We're going to get into all of this stuff as we go on, TK and Buddy. Best game by Etling as a Tiger.
Yep.
Bring on Tom Herman. All right, I'm going to get right to it. Can I get right to it?
You got it.
I think Tom Herman is related to Charlie Daniels, and he's playing LSU like a fiddle.
Like this?
Yeah. He's playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia or one of them Charlie Daniels songs, because let me tell you, you know, when you got people in Houston and Texas saying, we're not going to lose him over money, I think he's talking. Everyone must have to talk, but just like Fisher did early in the week, he's playing the fiddle. And I think it would be good if LSU got Tom Herman, but I don't see it happening. And believe me, I've been wrong before. And we all in this business have been wrong. We've had our times when we've been right. I think it would be good if they got him. I don't think they will.
Well,
your thoughts, Buddy Sanji?
I will say this. Look, we hope that Joe and the LSU staff learned some lessons from last year with all the leaks and the way it went down. He botched firing a coach. Now, TK, we've said it ad nauseum the last month. This is going to shape the legacy of Joe Oliva this next hire. The thing that we heard from Jimbo, there was a lot of talk that Jimbo was a done deal, but they didn't want it coming out until before he played. And then, of course, that blew up again with Jimmy Sexton. But the fact that it was leaked by Texas sites is not good for LSU, because now, TK, everybody and their brother knows that Joe's got a pair of aces in his hands, but he didn't have any room to bluff.
Well, the thing about Herman came from University of Texas people, okay?
Who want Tom Herman.
Want Tom Herman. And so, you know, this didn't come from Herman's agent. I got a lot of text messages tonight, buddy. A lot of people upset that stuff's running across the screen
during
all
the game.
Night. Okay, not because of what was wrong or because of the game, but if you're conducting business, conduct it the way you're supposed to when not everybody knows, because that's what happened last year.
Yep.
All the stuff with Les Miles, you know, it was in the paper, everyone reported things and this, that, and the other, and then all of a sudden, you know, it got haywire and it got sideways and nobody looked good in the thing. Well, right now, you're setting up to have somebody maybe not look good again, and I guess it's impossible nowadays with social media to keep things quiet, but you have to figure out a way to do it.
According to Glenn Guilbeau, Herman and Oliva and the LSU people met today in Houston.
Herman's in Memphis.
Well, you know, look, there's going to be some erroneous information.
Right.
But
they play
we know
tomorrow
this.
morning at 11 in Memphis. I'm thinking he's with his team, but maybe he's not.
Well, look, they play, yeah, exactly. They play tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and something will happen very quickly.
Make sure that's in Memphis.
But bottom line is this, TK.
I might be wrong already, buddy. Hold on.
Look, bottom line is this. You know, everybody and their brother that cares about Texas is going to be calling up the president and say, hey, I'll help with the buyout. You know what the buyout with Charlie Strong is? About 10.5 for him.
15 million.
10.5 for him and about 6.5 for his staff. So it's really about $17 million if you buy the staff and Charlie out. But I also got information that Texas A&M might fire Kevin Sumlin and talk to Tom Herman. If it does get done, I think it's a great day. Tom Herman and Dave Aranda were teammates at Cal Lutheran. They've got a great relationship. We heard that Coach O would stay on if that was the combo. Herman, head coach, Aranda, DC. Coach O would stay on, but obviously there's some guys on the staff.
Here's a question, buddy. Where are your sunglasses? The defense gave up 5 touchdowns. All right, hold on. We'll see. If Herman falls through, we need to stick with O. If LSU keeps O, who would you hire as OC? Lane Kiffin. The only way LSU gets Herman is if Texas keeps strong.
Yeah.
But you saying A&M might be in the play
I'm
there.
saying a lot of people want Tom Herman.
Let's see here. You may be right.
No, let's go to the calls anyway.
All right, here we go. Herman will sign a contract with Texas Saturday. That's coming from somebody in College Station who was sitting with R.C. Slocum. Hey, he was sitting with R.C. Slocum tonight in a suite at the game.
Well, look, the politics in Texas is just as bad as it is over here.
All right, we got to get to the phone lines. We're here on the Pelican Sports Postgame Show. LSU 54, Texas A&M 39. Before we get to the lines and the text messages, we're taping this show right after the game. There's going to be numerous replays of this show. So a lot of coach information that we may say tonight could change 5 minutes after we get done with the taping of this show, or it could change Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And this thing repeats all the way through Sunday. So please keep that in mind. We're going to do everything we know as of now and go from there. Let's go to Frank in Baton Rouge. Frank, you're on the postgame show.
Hey, TK and Buddy, how y'all tonight?
Happy Thanksgiving, Frank.
Same to y'all. It was a good game. Defense was a little sloppy, but all in all, it was a good game.
Well, Frank, come on, tell it the way it is. The defense was sloppy in the second half.
I agree with you.
They played good the first half, and as all of us were watching here at the end, you hate to see them give up the touchdowns and the yardage. But Frank, from an offensive standpoint, for a fan base, TK and Frank, that have been wanting offense, passing, and running,
A+.
It was nice to see, wasn't it, Frank?
It was. I'm telling you, I got news for all these people saying Tom Herman, Jimbo Fisher, even Ed Orgeron. They're going to have a problem regrouping. It's going to take them a good year if they recruit right to even get to the SEC championship. I don't care what anybody. You can get the best coach in the world, but we're losing a lot of people on defense.
Yeah, but Frank, we're looking at the new hire to come in here. It's 4 or 5 years, not just next year. You know that. Frank?
Yeah.
Said this is a hire for the next 4 or 5 years, not just next year.
I agree with you, but, I've had fun calling y'all this year, and if I live, I'll call y'all next year.
Hey, buddy.
All right, Frank, you take care. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Let's go to Rocco in Baton Rouge. Rocco's gone.
Yep, somebody else, line 2.
Let's go to James in line 2. James, good evening. You're on the postgame show.
Yeah, so there's a lot of...
All right, text messages are jumping, buddy. We've got, I don't know who that is. All right, let's see. It says,
you're calling text messages like LSU was calling plays.
I'm a
Get the
Bama
play
fan.
in.
Herman is scared of Saban. Let's see. Looked like a Big 12 game. Got a lead and the defense slacked off. Dante Jackson has gotten beat all year. Can't play one-on-one defense. Needs more coaching. We'll take a break, come back, get to the phone calls, get to the text messages. LSU wins in College Station, 54-39, and now the coaching carousel spins full speed. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Chrysan, we're on WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, Baton Rouge, as well as Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. We'll be right back with calls and texts. Stay with us.
Here at Rejuve-Me Medical, we strive to accomplish a more youthful you. We specialize in the most advanced techniques of testosterone replacement therapy in men, bioidentical hormone replacement in women, IV therapy, and nutritional support along with the state-of-the-art cosmetics procedures. Experience a network of trainers and health coaches offering diet and nutritional plans tailored to you. Call us today to schedule your free consultation to discuss your individual needs and goals. Look like you live younger.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal, and she makes your dreams come true.
Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source. Continue with the Pelican Sports post-game show. LSU 54, Texas A&M 39. Let's go to Bill and Gonzales. Bill. All right, Bill's not there. All right, let's go to Brian and Metairie. Brian, you're on the post-game show.
Yeah, hey, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to y'all, and I appreciate y'all being on the air during the holiday.
Thank you.
Gives me something to do.
Hey, you had a lot of turkey, Bill?
Oh, too much, actually. I hit seconds and thirds, and I'm going to feel it tomorrow.
Good deal. What did you think of the game?
But I tell you what, I watched the game. I was very enthused, and I was proud of the Tigers. I had a couple of questions for y'all because I know y'all know a lot of people and you know within the program. I've been following the internet like a crack addict, okay, all day with the coaching search. But most importantly, you know, I'm a big fan of Coach O, and I love him to death. I love his passion and whatnot. But I was also at the Florida game, took my kids and family up there. And, you look at guys like Coach Jimbo or Coach Herman and whatnot, and they offer an offensive philosophy. And the one thing that Coach O offers is energy, high level, compete, execution, and whatnot. And, watching the LSU Florida game, they look flat, man. They look like Les Miles was coaching them. And so my thing is, as much as I love Coach O, that was pretty bad performance. Now, granted, tonight was different, but it's helter-skelter. And I think fans are looking for a little bit of consistency. It doesn't matter. Kind of like the Nick Saban mantra of, it doesn't matter if it's Auburn or, San Antonio of Texas, you're going to play your best regardless. And I didn't see that with Coach O. So that being said, I'm looking for a big-name coach because I'm tired of being average. And, it starts, I said this before, it starts in the trenches. And for whatever reason, ever since Les Miles hired Grimes, we've been getting blown up, man. And I guess I just want to know what your opinions are, your feelings. It's not asking for inside information, but, if we were all around the table, what are your thoughts on the whole deal?
Well,
and
Brian,
I appreciate it.
Hey,
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks again.
Thank you, bud. He said he was like a crack addict looking at the internet, and that can drive you crazy. You and I have done that, TK, all week long, and it's crazy. You try to ascertain what's good information, what's bad. To some of his points, Tommy, Coach O's a defensive coach, and this year he had to pretty much have Ensmingers as OC. I thought they did a really nice job. Fullback, I don't ever want to see the fullback carry on 3rd and 1 again at LSU in the near future. They had a few faux pas with 3rd downs. For the most part, better play calling. But you and I both don't feel like Coach O is going to get a shot unless the dominoes all fall down and he's the only guy left. We think Joe Oliva wants to name a big name. This is going to shape Joe Oliva's legacy.
Yeah, I think if, as you said, you hit it perfectly. If a bunch of people, it doesn't work out for whatever the reason, then they may turn to Coach O. I keep hearing people saying, well, LSU ought to keep Coach O and keep this guy. It's up to the next head coach, okay? You don't hire a coach and tell him he's got to keep anybody, whether it's the strength guy, the equipment guy. A new coach comes in, and he is going to assemble his own staff. Now, he may want Coach O for a role. He may want Dave Aranda, whoever, okay? But it's up to them, and then that person's got to want to work with that coach. I mean, it's
you've been
a two-way
saying that
street.
all week. You've been saying that all week.
There's a two-way street there, and, so I don't think you hire a guy and say, oh, yeah, we want you to keep Orgeron's recruiting coordinator. He may have in his pocket what he thinks is the best recruiting coordinator in the world.
Well, that's what happened with Jimbo. They wanted Jimbo to keep Dave Aranda, and I heard that's one of the problems. And, of course, as we know, Jimmy Sexton is going to blow up they offered him $7 million.
All right, let's go to Bill in Gonzales. Bill, you're on the post-game show.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Thanks for your resiliency, Bill.
All right. And, I had a feeling A&M was going to be our Christmas turkey today, and the goose, too, and it's always good because I got a lot of friends in Texas that are Ags, and so that's nice. And, 5 years in a row now, right?
Yes. That is correct, Bill.
And I just wish the defense would have played a little more in the fourth quarter and not tried to go man-to-man with the DBs and no pressure on the quarterback, but the Tigers won the game. And talking about all the crap we heard during the game, on ESPN about with the Houston coach, I called the athletic office earlier this week and gave them my 2 cents. The Alumni Association didn't want to hear anything about it. And so I told them this. I said, the team is not where they need to be right now, but they're getting closer. And they kind of like some of them LSU baseball teams, They got to the College World Series but didn't win it. Then they had to run where they won 5 and 10 years, remember? And I said, we need somebody like Orgeron because he cares. He has LSU at heart. We get somebody else in here, I hate to say it, but we'll wind up, we may have good record, but we'll wind up like with Les again. They will come down. They like being a head coach. They're getting paid the big bucks, but they don't have LSU at heart, and that's what we really want. But I'm glad that the Tigers got the win. That's on Thanksgiving Day.
All right, Bill, just to verify, what were you upset about with LSU administration?
Oh, I just gave my 2 cents on about the coaching decision.
Well, listen, just in case for those that have not heard this on the internet or wherever you keep up with, I'll just read you a statement from Joe Oliva real quick. Knock him off. Here we go from Joe Oliva about an hour and a half ago. Contrary to media reports, there has been no decision made on who will be the next football coach at LSU. Coach Ogeron has done a great job of leading this team since taking over in late September, and we are pulling hard for the Tigers tonight against A&M. As we stated earlier, we are going to take our time and make sure we select the right person to lead our football program. And yet, TK, on the crawler, they had LSU Maylan Herman as early as Saturday. You think, connecting of the dots, that this means bad news for LSU and Tom Herman?
Right, well, right here's a text. Herman's agent's playing a lever like a cheap cigar. So, I mean,
you said a fiddle, Charlie.
Yeah, well, no, I'm reading the
text. No, I know, but I like your fiddle.
But, you know,
who knows what's going on?
It's part of what happens. I don't like the idea that the business is out on the street, so to speak.
Exactly.
Maybe it couldn't be helped. Maybe it could be helped. I'm not sure. I'm just saying that, you know, it's you'd rather have it a different way, but maybe you can't in today's world with social media and, you know, just the girl reporter going up and trying to ask a leaver for a comment during the game. That's dumb.
Yeah.
He's not. I don't care if she did get into his suite. He's not going to say anything. Now, does it look good that she rode the elevator up there and tried to ask him a question? Yeah, I guess it does. I guess maybe her boss told her to go see if you can get something. Maybe she could have heard from somebody else walking out the suite or whatever. But, you know, we've said it. I know people don't want to wait. People are anxious. People are excited. They hear Jimbo Fisher's name. You hear Tom Herman's name. You hear other names. There's a faction out there that wants Coach O to be the coach. And, I mean, it's all over the board, and we're just going to do our best to try to sort through it.
You know why I wore the sunglasses last week?
Because they lost.
Well, and there was another reason.
Because you look better.
Good one, bud.
1-0 TK.
Because when you're on the poker table, you don't show your hand.
Right.
You don't show excitement when you have two aces in the hole. We're talking Texas Hold'em. It relates.
Good analogy.
They're in Texas.
Very good analogy, buddy.
He's got two aces. But everybody in the country now knows that Jimbo's out and Herman is his next quest.
Yeah, his next attempt.
Wear your sunglasses on, zip your lip, and do it like Georgia. And whether it's Joe's fault or not, there's a lot of people pulling against Joe Oliva because of all this stuff that's happened with Florida. I hope they learn something. TK, if he doesn't bring Herman in, there's going to be a lot of people throwing, hanging Joe Oliva in effigy.
Let's go to Augie in Metairie. Augie, you're on the postgame show.
Augie, listen to your phone.
All right, let's go to James in Lafayette. James, you're on the postgame show.
How y'all doing?
Hey, James.
Yeah, I hadn't called in a couple of years. Y'all keep up with it a lot more than I do, but more or less, when they got rid of Les Miles, they really had almost no intention of keeping Coach O. Don't you agree with that?
For the most part.
I mean, the wind was always blowing against Coach O.
For the most part, I agree.
Unless he went 7-0 and he didn't do that.
Pretty much it. And, I hear a lot of people are talking him up and everything, and he's a great guy. But the administration was looking for their own hire. They had the whole season to look. And if it's not going to be Jimbo, and it's not going to be the guy from Houston, Herman, they're going to find somebody else. And I know they say, the pickings might be a little slim. But they're looking to find who they want. They don't want to feel like, okay, Coach O, he just happens to be the guy who was there. That's not what this program wants. And Coach O, he could be a great assistant coach. But he's not, the administration wants to make this decision on their own. They just don't want to feel like, it was almost thrust on them or they just kind of stumbled into it. So, I pretty much feel like Coach O had to win out. And I know a lot of people don't like that because he's a good guy, he's the local guy and everything. But Coach O ain't going to happen. I don't think so.
I agree with all of that. And to add one other little tidbit here, and you and I have talked about this, James, you probably will agree. We've heard all along that Joe Oliva wants an offensive guy to come in here, James. And you sit there and you look at the last two home stadium atmospheres, incredible stadium atmosphere, sold out, 10-0, and then to lay an egg against Florida last weekend. You scored, you got beat your last two home games in Tiger Stadium, scored 10 points. But I think he wants an offensive guy, and I think Joe is enamored. Joe Joe Oliva played quarterback at Lehigh. It's been a struggle for him to watch this offense. He's got to like it tonight, TK. But you and I have always agreed with James. Joe has wanted to name his own guy.
In the letter he released the Friday before the Florida game, he said it must be an offensive-minded coach, and he made his little checklist.
I didn't quite hear. Y'all were kind of breaking up on me, but I did hear the part about offense.
Yeah, he wants an offensive guy, James.
The fan base is pretty much clamoring for that. Our quarterback play has been so poor now for so long, with the exception of was it Mettenberger, you know, and so it's what the fan base wants. The college game is more offensive oriented now in the last 3 or 4 years, and I think we're willing to sacrifice maybe a little bit off the D to get the points on the board and to get the consistent offensive play, have the balanced attack and the consistency. So on offense, I think the fan base would sacrifice a little bit off the D for that. Just my opinion. So we'll see.
Good stuff, James. Hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving.
Thank you, James. There's, buddy, a lot of text messages. Keep O, get rid of Oliva. The AD needs to go. And, you know, I know it's a tough task that he has, but we saw what happened last November. We're seeing what's happening now, okay? And let's just play what if. I mean, there's a lot of people playing what if in all kind of directions. What if it's not Fisher and it's not Herman, okay? Then
you could win
now
lunch.
It's been out on the street that the interest in Fisher diminished. That they might have a deal in place by Saturday with Tom Herman, who plays on Friday like Larry Fedora does. And that means that if Herman wants to make a decision Saturday, his regular season's over with, okay? So, you know, it's just tough, and I guess you can't keep, you know, the old saying, if two people know it, everybody knows it. You know, if I tell you a little secret and you tell, you know, but if I know of something and I don't ever tell a soul, the chances of it getting out are a lot less.
That's why you never tell me anything.
I tell you everything, buddy. I tell you, you got the #1 show in the world.
Bottom line is this, and look, I know it is like, well, not that I would know what a crack habit would be like, but it's like a drug in that everybody, TK, your phone's been blowing up. I got a phone call at 6:30 in the morning a couple of days ago, or a text message. This has been on everybody's mind. We heard for 2-3 solid days, Jimbo was a done deal. Okay? Going to be somewhere around $7 million, 4 or 5 years. All the money people, is done deal. We heard it last year. Done deal. We know politics got involved, and for whatever reason that blew up. Joe looked bad because he didn't give the vote of confidence to Les that he should have given to him, just playing it right. If Joe does not get a big-time coach like Jimbo or Tom Herman, then the fan base is going to be pretty tough to satisfy.
All right, if Joe Oliva wakes up Friday morning, back in Baton Rouge, okay, and he does not have Fisher and he does not have Herman, let's say he knows that, okay, does he go to Coach Orgeron and say, who could you bring in here as the offensive coordinator if you become the permanent head coach? You know, trying to go down that path and see what, I think I know what Orgeron's answer would be, but we don't know if it would work or not. I think it would be Lane Kiffin, but, you know, he may say, Coach O, you got 6 hours to tell me who you can come up with as an offensive coordinator. And then, you know, then all of a sudden it's Friday night and other games are being played, and then it's Saturday. I don't know, buddy. It's confusing.
I would rather it take longer and they get the decision
right.
Well,
that's what that statement you read to me earlier that, you know, we're going to do, that tells me he doesn't have either one of them.
Well, and look, Tom Herman is going to talk to Texas. His agent going to talk to Texas. And we hear that they talked to LSU today. But Texas A&M, do not be shocked if they fire Kevin Sumlin. He gets in the mix.
You know it's going to be fun to watch tomorrow, buddy? The internet and the crawl on the bottom of the screens.
And the shows
then all of a
weekend.
sudden, you know, the Houston people may come out and say, we've reached an agreement with Tom Herman on a 5-year extension, a 10-year extension at $1,000 million. Okay?
But do you think the Texas people were saying their phones were blowing up when they saw that on the crawler?
Oh,
and it reminded me.
They quit eating turkey.
Hey, it reminded me eerily of when Kirk Herbstreit put the crawler with Les Miles would be the next coach of Michigan.
Well, Michigan played Herb Street like a fiddle.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
they loved jerking the chain of an Ohio State guy. No, they played him like a fiddle, and that has been proven to be the fact after the years went by. That's why I say that Tom Herman's related to Charlie Daniels. They playing the fiddle.
I don't know if he's playing the fiddle, but I do know this, that it is not even close to being a done deal. Obviously, they've had discussions. They've talked money. There is a great relationship between Dave Aranda and Tom Herman. And we know that there's a lot of positives. Well, oh, by the way, LSU playing the way it did also made it look good to come over here, even though we all know they're losing a ton and got an incredible schedule.
And I think if LSU can get Tom Herman, they should.
I agree.
Okay? If they can get him, they should.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a good move. I think it would be good for LSU football instantly and going forward. Because here's the thing I'm going to point out about Tom Herman, then we got to get to a break. Tom Herman, while offensive coordinator at Ohio State, not only won a national championship, but with his third-team quarterback, he won the Big Ten title game, the college football semifinal against Nick Saban in Alabama, and a national championship.
Big 250
So whoever comes in to coach at LSU, the road to Atlanta goes through Tuscaloosa right now. That's the facts, whether you want to hear that or not. Herman's got that skin on the wall with his third-team quarterback, who since Herman left, I don't even know if he's not done nothing on the football field.
No, he's not done. And here's the other thing that's so enticing. Herman on offense and Dave Aranda on defense, they played together at Cal Lutheran. Wow, you got a heck of a package. But look, did you see Jacques interview Scott Woodward, the AD at A&M? And Scott said, it's never done until the last 2 hours. I hate to tell you, everybody following it, you got 2 more days of living this stuff. And you wives out there, we apologize, but that's what men do. We want to know who the coach is, and that means we're on this phone, we're on this tablet. Until it gets done, the wives go shopping and spend all the old man's money tomorrow.
Buddy, I've heard from people today, okay?
You haven't heard from him in a year.
On Thanksgiving Day, I hear from the last November when this firestorm was going on. Okay, good people, a couple of them love listening to our station on the internet, the whole bit, but I hadn't heard from it. But it's good. I don't mind. I answered all of them. Okay, it was a bunch of them today. All right, we got to take a break. We welcome your phone calls at 225-928-4910. Send us a text message at area code 504-689-9246. Don't forget, you can tell folks you can catch this show on youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It'll be up mid-morning tomorrow, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Chrysan, your final score, LSU 54, Texas A&M 39. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology, and our highly trained staff have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation, because we know how to make you smile.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online cypresslake-apartments.net.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-552-8621. 800-552-8621.
With Pelican Sports post-game show, Buddy Sanji, Tommy Chrysan. Tigers win 54-39. Before we get to the phone lines, Robert Roth Jewelers celebrating 25 years in business. 7513 Jefferson Highway across from Goodwood Hardware over there by Town Center. Robert Roth Jewelers specializing in fine jewelry, custom design, hand engraving. They do jewelry repair. They specialize in engagement rings. RobertRothJewelers.com. 225-927-9444. Again, celebrating 25 years in business. Robert's a great guy. His staff's been together forever, 25 years. Go over there. Christmas is 1 month away, and they've got everything you need. No matter what your budget may be, they can take care of you at Robert Roth Jewelers, 7513 Jefferson Highway, across from Goodwood Hardware, same parking lot, right there by Town Center. Visit RobertRothJewelers.com. Fine jewelry, hand engraving, custom design, and jewelry repair. Go see my good friend Robert. Tell me you heard TK talking about him on television here on the Pelican Sports post-game show. Let's go to Mark in Baton Rouge. Mark, good evening. How are you?
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Listen, I really just think this AD has just goofed up this entire mess. You know, from what I understood, when Coach O was placed in the interim position, he made very clear that he wanted full due consideration at the end. And, you know, we get these leaks coming out like you have articulated tonight. And here we are finding out right at the end of the season that, the negotiations obviously have been taking place. And it just gives a smell that Coach O wasn't given due consideration on the whole matter. Whether we think that he's the guy for the team or not, I just think the AD has just blown this last year and this year.
Well, Mark, I think after the Florida loss, whatever consideration Coach O is going to get maybe diminished a little bit with that loss. Had they scored on that last play and won, maybe this week's a little different. But I understand your point. If it was window dressing, that's not good. I mean, that's not how you handle business. LSU football, LSU athletics is a major, mega dozens of millions of dollars business is what it is. And you don't do things the way some things were done last year and what has happened this week. And again, I had several people tell me, Mark, they couldn't stand the fact that crawl was on the bottom of the screen. They're trying to watch their LSU Tigers win an SEC game on the road, finish 5-3 in league play, and they're having to look at this thing constantly. Now, you can blame ESPN for that, but they're in the reporting business, okay? Kind of like Buddy and I are many days. So it would have been better show a shot of Joe Oliva playing with his telephone, say, hey, I wonder who he's talking to. That would have been a little better than the crawl all night.
Mark, I agree.
Can I ask you one other question about that? How did the negotiation with the Florida game end up to where they didn't agree to a night game? And that I guess I heard that being pushed somewhere.
Florida said that when they agreed to come to Baton Rouge, it had to be a day game. That was part of that negotiation.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. But, Mark, look, I agree with what you were saying 100%. TK, it doesn't matter if you're hiring coaches, you're hiring CPAs, you're hiring attorneys or whatever. Everybody knows that you've got to stop all the leaks, and you can't interview somebody of great magnitude if their name might be thrown into the hopper after the fact is over, whether he took the job, whether he interviewed, or whether you bypassed him. You've got to keep that stuff hush-hush. And Mark, this is the real problem that I have. Not that just Texas leaked this tonight. Texas leaked it because there's a strong faction that want Tom Herman. There's another strong faction. They've got politics pulling everywhere at UT right now. And the president says, hey, I want to keep Charlie Strong because it's $17 million buyout. But so Joe and his staff, once again, you just cannot let this stuff get out and let your hand, like I said, you got to have sunglasses at the poker table, Mark.
Yeah, I agree. It's a repetitive problem. It seems like it's been going on now just for far too long, and sooner or later we're going to have to deal with it. But, guys, listen, thank you so much for what you do every year, and I'll be tuning into you next year, good Lord willing. Okay?
Well, we'll be there after the bowl game.
After the bowl. Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let's go to Paul in Shreveport. Paul, good evening. You're on the post-game show.
Hey, good evening, guys. I want to tell you about happy Thanksgiving, and I'm glad you're doing the show this late at night.
Happy Thanksgiving, Paul. Hope you and the family had a great one.
Man, we did. I went to Sullivan's. It was fantastic.
Good deal.
There you go.
Good deal, my man. What you think about all this talk?
Man, it's makes you want to drink trying to keep up with everything. I would say that, do you think LSU has a chance to get to the Sugar Bowl?
No. No, buddy. They got 4 losses.
Not going to happen. Where do y'all think they're going to go?
Well, it just depends on how it plays out. But obviously Alabama's going to be in the CFP, and then, it depends on what Florida does. But I just think
does. Tennessee wins Saturday and next week.
Oh, but I mean, they're just too far down in the pecking order. Once again, this is the sad part about it, Paul. 3rd year in a row with Leonard Fournette, and you're going to have a mediocre bowl at best.
What if Herman comes to coach here? Do you really see us improving on the recruiting front as far as getting players that had left or flipped? What's your opinion on Herman coming in our recruiting class?
I think it'd be great for recruiting, TK, because you know they want to keep Aranda and Coach O. Now, I've been told on good authority they want to keep Aranda and Ogeron. Ogeron, a great recruiter and D-line coach. Aranda, a great defensive coordinator. Are you kidding? Tom Herman, like TK said, what he did with quarterbacks at Ohio State? Paul, this is what has been the problem. If you get Jimbo, he develops quarterbacks. You get Herman, he develops quarterbacks. We had our guy here at the station said, what about Lane Kiffin coming in here? Throw his name in the hopper. TK, you've heard Larry Fedora as a possible fallback guy. Paul, look, I like what Scott Woodward said. He said it happens in the last 2 hours. And right now, we're at the bar and it's 8 o'clock. It's not midnight.
They hadn't even come close to saying last
the bar
night.
closes
The
at
band's
2.
still doing a sound check.
Yeah. It's 8 o'clock at night, so you still have a couple of days, poor ladies. Go shopping tomorrow, Black Friday, and tell old man he's crazy, because people will literally be following this stuff all the way until it actually gets named sometime next week.
Do you think the Western Michigan coach, P.J. Fleck, is somewhere involved in this as a father? If they do not want Coach O,
I don't think P.J. Fleck gets it over at Ogeron.
Yeah. Too much of a chance there.
He goes beyond Coach O?
He doesn't have enough skins on the wall.
I think if it's not Fisher and it's not Herman, and whatever don't work with Fedora, or if Gundy's name's really in this, or Holgerson, if it really is, then I think you got to go to a little something I said earlier, Paul. I think Joe Oliva has to sit down with Ed Ogeron and say, okay, I want to meet with you again in 3 hours or 4 hours, 6 hours, and I want you to tell me that if I name you head coach, who are you bringing in here as an offensive coordinator? And then let Ed Ogeron do what he's got to do. He can come back to the office and say, I've got person so-and-so. And then if that satisfies Oliva, you name Ogeron head coach, you sign both contracts that day, and you get out on a recruiting trail, because the dead period starts Monday, December 12th. You want to get out on that trail as soon as you can.
Paul, I just have a problem, but once again, all of the cards that the LSU people have in their hands are being made known to everybody. It happened last year with Les, and now it's playing out of a similar way. I just hope Joe's got something up his sleeve, because if he botches this, there's going to be a lot of people wanting his head on the table.
I tell you, I think Joe Leba's on his last leg.
Well, that's what I was saying.
And here's something else. I don't want to get the horse ahead of the cart ahead of the horse here, Paul. If he messes this up, there's also a chance. I don't know if I should say it. I'm gonna say it. There's also a chance he got to hire a men's and a women's basketball coach next April. So, do we want that guy doing that?
Yeah, it's crazy, Paul. Nothing's simple.
Hey. Say that again?
I said nothing is simple with this thing. You know, look, I'm telling you, if I had a $5 bill for everybody that told me Jimbo was signed, sealed,
you'd have a lot of fives.
I'm yours. Yeah. And then, but what people have a problem with, Paul, is this. You're letting everybody know ahead of time, like with this crawler, and I know Texas had a lot to do with it, but that gives Tom Herman and his agent all the leverage. It takes it away from LSU, Paul.
I know you got other callers, but I'm just going to say this. I don't think we're getting Fisher or Herman. I think we're going to probably end up staying with Coach O, and I don't see Lane Kiffin coming to LSU from Alabama. So if it's not Lane Kiffin, who would you think would be the next?
Well, if they name Coach O the head coach, that's going to be up to him. And I'm sure he knows other people who can run an offense aside from Lane Kiffin. Again, he'd have to convince Joe Oliva or tell Joe Oliva who he can get, knowing that he can get him through a phone call.
Paul, who's your first choice right now, Paul? If you could take anybody, who would you want?
Herman. Not only because of him, but Major Applewhite's offensive coordinator there.
Right.
He's been successful in the past, and I think he's a great recruiter. Houston, we have a great recruiting base from there.
Sure.
There's a stud running back from Mississippi. His name escapes me right now.
Cam Akers.
I think, Herman comes here, all these guys, 5-star players that may be shying away from us, reconsiders LSU.
Yeah, that guy's name is Cam Akers.
So, yeah.
Thank you,
but
Paul.
Anyhow,
hey, buddy, we talk to you later here.
A great night, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your families, and go Tigers.
Thank you, my man.
I put two things for you, buddy. One guy text message answering your question. If you could wave the wand and have anybody you'd want, this guy wants Nick Saban. And the other thing is, if you had that many $5 bills, you could play golf against me for money.
Oh, right.
Because you'd need all of them to pay me. Huh? You don't
ate
think?
Too much turkey, I think.
I ate a bunch of turkey today. All right, let's see. Do you think Fournette comes back next year because he was hurt, or is and his NFL stock has dropped?
No, he's not coming back. It'd be crazy for him to come
I don't think he's coming back either. All right, let's go to Louie in Baton Rouge. Louie, you're on the post-game show.
Yeah, guys, the whole environment of how they're going about doing this is bothering me, because I just feel like LSU should be shooting way higher than Tom Herman or Jimbo Fisher. I just got a major problem with not talking to John Gruden and the Bill Belichick. Say, all right, give me the 5 best coaches in college football. And I think these guys may be in the mix, but we don't have anybody else besides those two.
Well, there's other names in the mix, I think. They're not as high up on the list. I'd be all for John Gruden, but I don't think he wants to coach college football.
Well, you know what I would do? I wonder if Joe Oliva would go fly to John Gruden and come in to see and say, I'll pay. What do you want? If he says no, okay, give me the next 4 people. Okay? You know who they are. You know who the best coaches are. They know. That's the deal. I'm not sure this guy has any kind of connection with that type of people at that level to know who to even talk to.
Well, that's the problem, Louie. When you make a mistake, we used to talk about this with Les. When you make a mistake, A, you have to be smart enough to know you made a mistake, and B, you've got to be extra smart enough to know how to correct a mistake. And Louie, you've been in business and done quite well. You know that you cannot have everything when you're negotiating out under the table. You've got to leverage people, you've got to slow play people, but the last thing you need is having your business on the crawler while your game is played, because first of all, it's an insult to Tom Herman, who plays tomorrow at 11. It's an insult to Ed Ogeron, who's done a good job while the game's on. And I'm not saying Joe leaked it, but the fact that it got out once again shows they haven't filled the leak and cured the problem from last year. So what did they learn from last year? You can't do it in the public. You got to do it like Georgia did with Mark Richt. That's the way I think you should do it, guys.
Well, to me, I look at this whole situation, and it's like ranked amateurs running the show. I mean, I look at all the people that are involved at LSU, and I don't see anybody. I mean, Joe Levy, you know what he's done to people that's worked for him and worked with him. He throws people under the bus real quick, okay? And I have a problem with him in general. Why they hired him to begin with was beyond me. But I don't see any leadership out there that knows how to hire a football coach, a basketball coach, or anybody else out there. I think they got a major hole in their athletic department with people that are running the show.
I can't disagree.
All right, Louie.
Thank you, Louie. Hope you didn't eat too much turkey.
All right.
All right.
All right, let's go to A.T. in Mississippi. A.T., you're on the post-game show.
Hey, guys, enjoying the show. How y'all doing tonight?
Happy Thanksgiving, A.T.
Hey, y'all too. First of all, let me just say, great win tonight. I wish we could have put 60 up on Chief tonight, but I'll take the 54. Hey, listen, I'm probably in the minority here. I would take Coach O, and we can talk through that. But let me just ask y'all a question. One, if you can just kind of catch me up on what the latest is with respect to Jimbo and Herman. And then, Buddy, you said something earlier, and really the reason I'm calling, you alluded to the fact that you think the next head coach might be able to keep Coach O here. Or are y'all hearing that if Coach O gets passed over here that he's open to staying home?
Yeah, I have gotten that information the last couple of days, and also Dave Aranda has made it known that he's liked it here and would be receptive. And that was one of the holdups with Jimbo. We're talking about, and you've been saying this all along, TK, you can't offer a guy $7 million and then say, okay, but you need to keep Aranda and Ogeron and this and this and this, because when you pay a guy $7 million, he's going to come in and say, look, I got to have full control. So they owe Aranda for the next two years. He had Jeremy Pruitt, a very good defensive coordinator at Florida State, who went over to Bama. We heard word that Jimbo wanted to bring Pruitt in as his DC. There was a problem there. And anytime you're dealing with Jimmy Sexton, he knows what went on last year. So he's going to get Jimbo a better deal. But I'm telling you, A.T., there are no certainties in this thing. It could pop tomorrow. It could pop Tuesday. It could, no telling. But the way it's being handled is a problem that everybody has, I think.
It's so crazy that Jimbo could pop back into the picture.
You never
Let's
know.
say he goes over to Florida State and says, okay, I'm looking for a little raise. We're not giving you a raise. Calls Sexton back and says, call LSU back, tell them we might be interested. I mean, nothing is off the table.
Yeah, whoever comes in would be crazy, obviously, not to want to keep Aranda, number one, and number two, keep Bebe.
Yeah.
But y'all feel, I mean, it sounds like everybody, there seems to be consensus that Aranda would stick around for at least another year or two, maybe, until something pops open for him. But y'all, it sounds like you feel pretty good that Bebe would be open to sticking around.
I was told that. I think they would probably, once again, give him the title of recruiting coordinator. And listen, Bebe's making $650,000. Now, I don't know what he got extra for being the interim coach. But
well, he got something. We don't know what. We'll find out eventually.
You start paying an assistant coach $700,000 plus. That's hard to turn down and go somewhere else. Although he could always go and work for Lane Kiffin. But once again, one of the positives LSU has here, TK and AT, they pay more than anybody in the country. Them in Alabama, 1-2 every year with the monies for the staff. That was a problem that Jimbo had at Florida State, and he used that leverage to get more money for his assistants in this.
And that's why Bielema left Wisconsin to go to Arkansas, because Wisconsin wouldn't let him pay assistants what he wanted to do.
Hey, guys, thanks. I know there's a lot of other folks getting in, so I just appreciate y'all. Love the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, AT.
All right, we're going to take a break. LSU wins 54-39. Still to come. About 10 minutes from now, Ronnie Rance with a report from the stadium, Kyle Field over in College Station, Texas. So we'll visit with Ronnie in just a little bit, but keep the phone lines coming. The text messages just are not stopping tonight, buddy. It says if O doesn't get the job, he's leaving ASAP. I know that for a fact. Let's see.
Well, I don't believe that. I think it's a fluid situation.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and try to be a little more fluid. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Krysan on the Pelican Sports Post Game Show, WUBR, CBS Sports Radio, 9:10 a.m. in Baton Rouge, smartphones, internet, tablets, mobile devices, and then, of course, Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, also on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us. Brian Lazar tonight, huh?
Don't let bugs bug you anymore. Call the bug man today.
And for termite protection, go green with Centricot. If it's good enough for Lady Liberty and the White House, then it's good enough for you. Eliminate the colony and eliminate termites for good.
Call 923-BUGS today.
Perkins Road Veterinary Hospital is a full-service veterinary hospital committed to your pet's health. We offer advanced diagnostic and therapeutic medical services, laser surgery, dog and cat diets, and treats, along with stress-free boarding. Dr. Ritchie sees patients for routine checkups to keep your loved ones happy, also advanced medical and surgical cases. We have separate condos for cat boarding and large climate-controlled canine boarding. Our boarding dogs get to have fun in a very large play yard several times a day. Laser therapy is a service that we offer to heal wounds and help our patients that suffer from chronic pain. Laser therapy is a wonderful adjunct treatment for neurologic and arthritic pain with no side effects. Your pets are family members and deserve the best and highest quality of care. Dr. Ritchie and his staff greatly respect the human-animal bond and are committed to exceeding your expectations.
Here at Rejuva-Me Medical, we strive to accomplish a more youthful you. We specialize in the most advanced techniques of testosterone replacement therapy in men, bioidentical hormone replacement in women, IV therapy, and nutritional support along with the state-of-the-art cosmetics procedures. Experience a network of trainers and health coaches offering diet and nutritional plans tailored to you. Call us today to schedule your free consultation to discuss your individual needs and goals. Look like you live younger.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
Pelican Sports Post Game Show, LSU 54, Texas A&M 39. We're now joined by Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Good evening, Brian. Happy Thanksgiving. How are you?
Doing good. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing well. First, your thoughts on 54-39. Darius Guy setting the school record of yardage rushing in a single game. Your thoughts on the game we saw tonight, Brian?
Look, John Chapin had no answer for LSU's offense. I mean, he couldn't stop, or his defense couldn't stop Darius Guy from running, and he couldn't stop Danny Etling from throwing it. 285 rushing for Geis, 324 passing for Etling. So this is one of those games where you knew where the ball was going to be. Either they were handing it to Geis or Edling was throwing it. A&M had no chance, never had a chance of stopping LSU's offense, and that was the story of the game. It's going to go down as LSU defense had a rough night and gave up 39 points, but they gave up 3 of those touchdowns after the score is 34-10. So I mean, it's one of these games that A&M kept on trying to score, and I think LSU you let up a little bit, and A&M's got some good receivers, so they can score some points. So, but let's give for one night the credit to the offense. LSU had never won a football game in its history when it had allowed 39 points.
Wow!
It had won twice when it scored 38. They beat Mississippi State in overtime in Nick Saban's first year, 45-38, and then beat Arkansas, I think, the next year, 41-38. So those are the but never had LSU given up 39 points in a football game and won.
And, of course, 622 yards offense tonight for LSU. Go ahead, Bert.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
it's night for the offense. Most points have scored in an SEC game in 3 years. They beat Mississippi State 59-26 in 2013. So, look, we've seen so many crazy things this year, and this was just another one on the field tonight. Of course, I don't know how many people were concentrating what was going on in the field, particularly, in the first half. I think things sort of calmed down in the second half. But, look, we don't know what's going on with the coaching search. The one thing, this story tonight broke about Tom Herman maybe having a deal with LSU, all broke from Texas, and not Houston, but in Austin. That's where it all came from. And, look, they have some issues over there at Texas. Charlie Strong, everybody knows he's got a 16-20 record in 3 years. Texas 5-6. They play TCU tomorrow. The president of Texas wants to keep Charlie Strong, and I think from an organizational standpoint, this is one reason. Mike Perrin, who's the AD at Texas, is an interim.
Right.
So it's, what are you going to do? If you're going to let the interim hire a new head football coach, and then he's not going to be that guy's boss? I mean, first of all, I don't know how many coaches would want to take a job where you don't know who your boss is going to be. So I think that's one reason why the president wants to hold on to Strong for another year. Now, the boosters, some board members, they're putting pressure on the Texas president. They want to make a change right now. So I think this was all of this that came out tonight from Texas people trying to put more heat on the president to make a change. Because, look, if Charlie Strong gets fired tomorrow or Saturday, I believe Tom Herman's going to take the Texas job over the LSU job. I just believe that. So I think all of this broke tonight because I think a lot of people are thinking that Strong's going to be safe. So what has happened with Jimbo Fisher in LSU, I don't know. I don't know if, look, Jimmy Sexton's driving up the price. Jimbo's making 5.1 or 5.2 at Florida State. He gets his contract there, I think, is through 2022, and he gets a $100,000 raise every year. So you're talking about the last year of his contract, he's like about 5.7. No state income tax in Florida, so you have to account for that. So you know that we're talking about 6.5 or higher. And, I'm sure Jimmy Sexton, his agent's playing hardball with LSU. So is that money too much for LSU? I don't know. Does Jimbo really want to leave Florida State? That's another question. You don't know about that. So we've had this flurry of action tonight, and I still think we're in the same situation. LSU's top two choices are Jimbo Fisher and Tom Herman. Tom Herman still certainly likes the Texas job and would probably rather be the Texas coach than the LSU coach.
Well, Brian, I got a question.
Uh-huh.
If it happens where Charlie Strong stays at Texas because the president doesn't want to get rid of him and there's the interim AD, all the points you made, does a piece of Tom Herman say, well, you know what, I'm going to stay in Houston one more year and see what happens at Texas? If Strong has another poor year, they'd have no choice but to get rid of him. And then Herman could go in there, and then Herman could say, well, if all of a sudden Strong goes 12-0 and they're not getting rid of him, there'll be another job out there for me somewhere.
I mean, I guess that's a possibility, but I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he will stay another year at Houston if he could be the coach at LSU. I don't believe that he will do that.
Okay, he'd go to LSU if he had that option, yeah.
I definitely believe if his two options were staying at Houston or going to LSU, I think he stays at LSU. Now, reportedly tonight, Houston is ready to up his salary by, I just saw 7 figures. Now he's making $3 million right now at Houston, so I don't know if they're ready to offer him another $1 or $2 million. I never did see a figure. But
no state income tax over there either.
Right. So I don't look. I think we had all this tonight. I think the biggest news of the night is maybe Jimbo Fisher is willing to stay at Florida State. I think the Herman deal is the same thing, and is just some leverage coming. Look, could have been leverage coming out, putting more pressure on Texas. Look, you're going to lose Tom Herman if you don't make a change. And we got another day to worry about it. Look, at least we're not waiting until Saturday. Texas plays TCU tomorrow. Houston plays Memphis tomorrow. So Charlie Strong and Tom Herman's regular seasons at their schools will be over on Friday.
Brian, have you been able to verify if LSU did in fact talk to Herman today, and where was that? Did that meeting take place, or you hadn't been able to ascertain that yet?
No, look, Houston's playing in Memphis at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So Tom Herman, I'm sure, they left Houston. I'm imagining what happened. They probably had a meal, and then flew to Memphis. So do I think it could have been possible as representatives with LSU met with Herman early this morning? Certainly it's a possibility because, LSU's in College Station tonight, so all their people were in that area, so they could easily have met with Herman today. But again, what I'm hearing is Herman doesn't want to meet with the school representatives. He wants everything to go through his agent, where he has told his agent, if I'm going to be the head coach, this is what I want in my program. And you can let the schools know that. That's what I've understood that he was working at. Now, his agent, Trace Armstrong, happens to be the new agent for Les Miles.
That's correct. Hey, Brian, we've had 3, 4, 5 calls about the national perception of LSU. Most people feel like still a top 5, top 7 job, but the national embarrassment last year, now this crawler thing this year. Has Joe and LSU as a whole taken a national hit in the last calendar year?
LSU took a hit this year because they came into the year ranked number 5 in the country and they lost 4 games. That's the big hit they took this year. This is LSU's team this year is the most disappointing team in the country. They came into the year ranked 5th in the nation, and when you look at some of the things that they have done, you'd say, man, this team should have a better record than what it has. It hasn't won close games this year, and I think that's the hit. I don't think it's a hit over the Les Miles snafu at this time last year, or what's going to happen this year. I think the biggest issue is that they had a team this year that everybody thought was going to be one of the best teams in the country, and it's going to end up, like about 4 or 5 other teams in the SEC.
That's what happens when you run Darius Geis twice against Bama. Sorry, I went crazy after the game on that.
Buddy,
still went crazy.
We've talked about this, you and I, a lot the last 2 or 3 years. And if you look, the Leonard Fournette era, and Leonard is a great talent. But if you look at what wins and losses and for the program while he was there, it didn't happen. Just look at this year, LSU. The 4 games that he didn't play, LSU won. They were 3-4 in the 7 games in which he did play. I think LSU's record in SEC games with Fournette in the lineup was 13-10. There's certainly no drop-off when you go from Fournette to Geis.
Brian, tell us what's happening at TigerBait.com.
www.tigerbait.com. Working right now on the wrap-up of the games tonight. And, of course, we'll have all the latest on the coaching situation over the weekend. I'm sure that, I'll be pretty surprised if we don't have a football coach by Monday. But we'll just have to wait. Now, who it's going to be, that I'm not sure about yet. I'm not ready to say it's going to be Tom Herman.
Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with the family, Brian. We appreciate you all year long, my man.
Yeah, and just to mention, basketball team got a win tonight. They beat Old Dominion 66-60. So they play VCU down in the Bahamas tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Okay, talk to you guys later.
Appreciate it.
Leonard Fournette was to LSU football as Shaq was to LSU basketball.
No way.
Well, Shaq was one of the best in
Shaq
college.
was a player of the year twice.
I know, but what I'm saying to you is
Shaq was the first pick in the draft.
But you didn't accomplish. I'm talking about the team accomplishments.
Oh, team accomplishments.
Team accomplishments. They did the same thing. Shaq didn't do it.
Shaq didn't come in with the hype Fournette came in with. Of course, we didn't have the internet blowing up back then, and you saw 8 miles of tape of Shaq. We didn't. It was a different world due to social media and
But I'm talking about
internet.
team achievements. Very similar.
I'll go with that. Okay.
I'm not talking about Shaq, as you said. Leonard Fournette will not be the first round, first pick of the draft.
He won't be all SEC. So.
Well, probably not.
Geis will be.
Geis
He'll be at least second team.
He should be.
All right, let's take a break, come back. We can still squeeze in a phone call or a text message if you want. And try to connect with Ronnie Rance over in College Station, Texas. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Christ, and CBS Sports Radio, Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
I work at Debbie's Bridal and she makes your dreams come true.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 800-383-8177. 800-383-8177.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Pelican Sports post-game show. We now go live and direct to College Station, Texas. Ronnie Rance. Ronnie, good evening. How are you?
Hey, Tommy. Hey, buddy. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Tell us what Coach O had to say after the game.
Well, Coach O was he was pretty much obviously in a very good mood, and he was pretty reflective as well. You know, I mean, it was definitely a guy who you could tell enjoyed the game. He enjoyed the victory and felt like, you know, he made himself a good case and you know, for consideration for the job.
Ronnie, he seemed more animated on the sidelines tonight than in the previous games. Did he talk about, you know, as you said, he was being retrospective, but did he kind of have a little gleam in his eyes about there's still hope, or do you think that Joe's looking for a bigger fish?
Well, I don't think he's going into this weekend thinking he's going to get the job, but I think he definitely thinks there's a shot. You know, and I think most people think if Jimbo or maybe like a Tom Herman pass it up, then they may not go to the third option. He may be the third option. I mean, he and Steve Ensminger embraced on the field. You know, he was obviously very enthusiastic about Steve, and, you know, the fact that he hung 50 on him, and, you know, they gave each other a big bear hug. Those guys are good friends, as well as obviously they work together. I think he's just very satisfied. I think he feels like he did a really good job, and he should absolutely be considered for it.
I think he did do a really, really good job in more ways than one. Ronnie, Darius Geis sets the school record single game rushing yardage. What did Darius have to say after the game? Did he talk about? Did he talk?
It was pretty funny. You know, he was very complimentary of the O-line, the coaches. I mean, he went on. It was like a Grammy Award-winning speech where he just kind of thanked everybody. But he talked about, you know, he said, you know, I said, hey, you know, how about Thanksgiving, playing on Thanksgiving and that sort of thing. And he said, I'm full. I ate all day long. You know, talking about running the ball, and he was in a great mood and obviously feeling pretty good. He said that he complimented the coaches on doing a great job getting them over that Florida loss, and obviously nobody felt it worse than Darius Geis ran the wrong way on the last play. And so he complimented the coaches on getting his team mentally ready.
Ronnie, Danny Etling had his best game as an LSU Tiger from a numbers perspective, plus it was a win, 622 yards offense. He threw for 324. I know you talked to Danny after the game. What was he talking about?
Well, you know, he talked about how he felt like they were in the zone offensively. He wasn't sure if it was the run setting up the pass or the pass setting up the run, but it was all working. It was one of those rare occasions where you're kind of in the zone. You feel like you're real accurate with your throws. And, you know, he just obviously they did a fantastic job, over 600 yards of offense. Everything was clicking. And this looked like, you know, I think he was, 20 or 27 or something like that throwing football. Yeah. No turnovers. I mean, he's just gotten better and better each and every game.
Ronnie, Russell Gage got him a touchdown pass tonight. And what else did you get out of Gage?
Yeah, well, you know, the Redemptorist product, Russell Gage got his first career touchdown catch. And, everybody was happy for him. I mean, everybody, I talked to Malachi Dupree and all, and one of the first things Malachi said was, man, I was glad to see guys get some opportunity, and, we were all happy for Russell Gage to get his first career touchdown. The ball was spread around, all over the field. There were Deshaun Smith got catches. I mean, a lot of guys got touches. It just didn't go to one person.
Ronnie, did the short week and the quick turnaround, did that hurt the defense in the second half? Did they play off a little bit? What, a lot of guys and ladies happy.
Buddy, when I talked to Donnie Alexander, he said they ran a lot of stuff in the second half that they didn't see on film and weren't prepared for. So obviously they kind of emptied the kitchen sink and did some new things, and it obviously caught LSU off guard. And I think with the big lead, there was obviously a little bit of a let-up, but no question there was that second half is one that's going to leave a little bad taste in the mouth of those defensive guys until they get back out there in the bowl game. And by the way, LSU was pretty banged up on the defensive side. I mean, we saw Tre'Davious White was on crutches after the game. Obviously, they didn't play with certain guys. Talking to their trainer, Jack Marucci, he said this team was pretty banged up.
Ronnie, any word on why Arden Key didn't dress?
No, I didn't know. I didn't ask about Arden Key. I saw where he wasn't dressed, but I did not know why. I don't have anything to tell you on that one.
Ronnie, tell us about Sports Shorts TV and Sports Shorts Radio.
Sports Shorts TV, Monday nights at 9, Tuesdays at 8, right here on Pelican Broadcasting. Of course, Sports Shorts Radio, myself and Joel Davis. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. Mondays 6 to 8 on ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge.
Joel Toothpick Davis, right? Hey, Ronnie.
Who said on Monday it was a 98% deal that Jimbo Fisher was going to be the next coach at LSU. 98% done. That was his quote on the radio, so we'll see if he's right.
Ronnie, I also want to remind you that Christmas is 1 month away.
Looking forward to it. Haven't done one thing with Christmas shopping, DK.
All right, Ronnie. Thank you so much.
Jumbo.
Safe travels home.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Thank you.
bud.
Same back to you and your family. Jumbo, over there in College Station.
Look, it's kind of a bittersweet in this regards, TK. Everybody happy. Number one, John Chavis making 1.6 over there, and Aranda making 1.2 or 1.3 over here. LSU got the better end of that deal. But and then the streak continues on with Texas A&M. But I'm getting my phone blowing up, and I knew yours is too. It's this doubt that people have about, are they going to get it right? Or once again, is it going to be a fallback guy? And we can't say enough tonight about the pressure on Joe Oliva to make this happen right.
And let me say this again before we get to our final break. Obviously, we're taping this right after the game on Thursday night, and there are going to be some replays of this program. You may see some stuff. Some stuff may happen. Buddy and I, you're going to go, why ain't they talking about that? Well, because you're going to get some reruns of this on Pelican Sports TV and on YouTube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. So what we'll do is we'll take our final break of the night, and then we'll come back with some parting thoughts and some last-minute comments and go from there. Buddy Sanji, Tommy Christ, and the Pelican Sports Postgame Show. Stay with us.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. Beautiful views of Cypress Lake. 1, 2, 3-bedroom apartments are available. Stop by and see Cypress Lake Apartments. Give them a call at 225-293-6789 or visit online, cypresslake-apartments.net.
Don't let bugs bug you anymore. Call the bug man today.
And for termite protection, go green with Centricod. If it's good enough for Lady Liberty and the White House, then it's good enough for you. Eliminate the colony and eliminate termites for good.
Call 923-BUGS today.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Friends, family, and community in surrounding parishes who have lost vehicles due to the flood. North American Auto Group is here to help. We have discounted over 400 pre-owned vehicles with no water damage. In addition, we have lenders offering disaster relief financing programs. We will also help you with your insurance and GAP claims. Shop online at NorthAmericanAutoGroup.com or visit us at one of our 4 locations in Baton Rouge and Gonzales. North American Auto Group. We make it easy.
Since 1986, the family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Frugier, with state-of-the-art building and technology, and our highly trained staff have been dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages. The experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Frugier to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 225-292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation because we know how to make you smile.
Continuing the Pelican Sports Post-Game Show, wrapping it up. Texas A&M loses to LSU 54-39. We just had somebody in the studio tell us Saban's coming back. Just kidding. Just kidding. He's not coming back.
Well, you know, look, we want to, first of all, give us a big shout-out to all those people out there who have listened and watched us on TV and radio. And remind everybody we won't be on the local shows tomorrow. We will be back next week.
Should be an interesting week.
Oh, it'll be an incredible week. But Thanksgiving to everybody. I know you had a great time. I had a great time. Great ball game. Great way to end. Like hearing about, and all of the particulars. In case you missed it, Darius Geis eclipsed Leonard Fournette's single-game rushing record by 1 yard, 37 carries, 285, 4 touchdowns. Danny Etling, by far his best performance as a Tiger. Russell Gage, what a great story this young man is. Traven Durrell out, Russell Gage, he never played a lick before the new coaching change.
That's correct.
And so DJ Shark got in again with a jet sweep. A lot of good things, but TK, it's got a curse on people. Until they know who the next coach is, we warn these wives, your husband might be a little irritable. Let's hope that they get it right because a lot of pressure on Joe Leavell.
Tom Herman's Houston Cougars play at 11 o'clock Friday morning. Larry Fedora's North Carolina Tar Heels play at 11 o'clock Friday morning. So if either of those guys are in play, there'll be some talking going on tomorrow night once their regular season is officially concluded.
Phones are burning up right now at Texas, and there is a major struggle.
Nobody's sleeping in Austin tonight.
A major struggle right now going on with the politics at Texas.
Buddy, recapping, Danny Etling, 20 of 28 for 324, 2 touchdowns, no picks. LSU didn't turn the ball over. Darius Geis breaks the school record, 37 carries.
37 carries.
37 carries for 285 yards, 4 touchdowns. Receiving, Russell Gage, 5 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown. Dupree also had a touchdown reception. So some pretty good numbers there coming out of LSU with the big win, 54-39 over the Aggies in College Station. And by the way, that's 5 straight over the Aggies.
You could tell LSU, once again, even on the short week, they had A&M's number, much like Alabama has LSU's number. A lot of smoke and fire at College Station. There's a possibility that Kevin Sumlin, once again tumbling, could get clipped.
Buddy, they started the year 6-0. They finished 2-4 going out.
Again, this has happened the second or third year in a row. Once again, we'll keep you updated. And, hey, we just appreciate all of you tuning in and giving us our calls, patronizing all of our sponsors. Hang in there, folks. We want to see LSU great again. Not going off any political statements, but we want to see LSU football get back in the conversation, and it's going to be contingent on what they do with this hire.
Again, on behalf of everybody at Pelican, we thank you for watching, listening, whether it's this program or any other programming on radio or TV. We'll be around after the bowl game. Stay tuned to all the radio shows. We'll get you the information out on that. Don't forget the YouTube page, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Find us on Facebook page Pelican Broadcasting. The Twitter account is @Pelican Sports. Again, on behalf of everybody at Pelican Broadcasting, on behalf of the Budman Buddy Sanji, I'm Tommy Chrysan. Hope your Thanksgiving weekend continues wonderfully. Thank you so much for being watching Pelican Sports TV and listening to the radio. Thank you.